Hello, everybody. Hope everybody is doing fine. Welcome to Uncommon Sense. Today's episode is around why. Yes, we do separate episodes of why, how, what, and today's episode is around why, and it's based on a fundamental mathematical approach which we would have studied in our school days, but whenever questioned, why so, right? So I'm talking about 1 divided by 0. So 1 divided by 0 right now, if you basically take a calculator and divide anything by 0, you'll get a math error. Now if you want to ask this question to yourself as to why 1 divided by 0, or rather any number divided by 0, um, is undefined, we will go into the basics of this and try to understand how mathematicians have approached this problem. And I have been learning this, so I have made it a hobby of of me to basically go around these very interesting topics and ask the questions why. So on today's why episode, we will try to figure out why is any number divided by 0 undefined. All right, so let's begin. It's not very tough of what we used to think in our school days. We always used to have this mindset that anything divided by 0 is infinity, but it is not. It is basically undefined, and we will prove why it is undefined by the actual methods that mathematicians have used. And we'll go to the fundamentals, the roots of how the approach has been taken. It's very simple, it's very easy, and I tried my best to explain this approach to you, right? So let's begin. Okay, so we have a blank board in front of us, and let's try to understand very fundamental operations in mathematics, right? And this is how we will approach 1 divided by 0. So before we get into division, let us try to understand what multiplication is all about. And trust me, we need to understand this in detail to understand why 1 divided by 0 is undefined, right? So let's basically take um, any multiplication whatsoever. So let's, for example, uh, let's take 5 multiplied by 3, right? So multiplication is nothing but repeated addition. This particular equation basically tells you how many times you add 5, which basically represents 3. So 5 into 3, so how many times you need to add 5, and what would be the result of that? So 5, 3 times 5 is basically 5 plus 5 plus 5, right? This is exactly what multiplication is all about, right? So now let's look at the division. Now similarly, division is nothing but subtraction, but subtraction in a the approach is slightly different. So for example, let's take this, right? So let's take 10 divided by 5, right? 10 divided by 5 is basically nothing but how many times should I subtract 5 from a set of 10 till we don't have anything left in our set, right? So for example, if 10 is our set, so how many times do I need to subtract 5 to fundamentally not have anything remaining in our original set? So we need to subtract 5 twice, right, to actually not have anything in our set. That means 10 divided by 5 is nothing but how many times you will subtract 5 from the set 10 to get 0, right? So I would basically subtract 5 two times. So this is what the division is. So we will keep this fundamental truth with us, and then we'll approach 1 divided by 0, right? So now we understood what is 10 divided by 5 fundamentally. Now let's see what we basically do with exact same approach. What do we do with 1 divided by 0? All right, so what is 1 divided by 0? You have a set 1, and how many times do we subtract 0 from this set to finally not have anything else with us in the set of 1? Ideally, if you keep subtracting 0, you will reach infinity, and that's why 1 divided by 0 is infinity. But hold on, we'll get to that, right? Similarly, if you try a different number, let's take 2 divided by 0. 2 divided by 0 is again the same thing. How many times will you subtract 0 from 2 to have nothing left in your set? And we'll keep on going till the infinity, right? So um, this is what the approach of the normal division is, as per the previous examples that we saw, right? Now let us do one thing. Let us try to approach this problem in a different way, right? So what we'll do right now is that let us tend to go towards 0. Let us try to divide something and tend to go towards 0. So let us take let's take the first series. Let's take 1 divided by 1, right? So from 1 we will go down to 0. So how do we go down to 0? So 1 divided by 1, then you have 1 divided by 0.1, similarly 1 divided by 0.01, right? And so on, right? So 1 divided by 1 is basically 1, right? 1 divided by 0.1 is 10. 1 divided by 0.01 is 100. All right. So where are we going, right? So again, this will tend to infinity. You do the same thing with 2, right? If you take 2 divided by 1, it's 2. Then you take 2 divided by 0.1, right? 0.01 is again 200, right? So you get what I say, right? So any number you take and you divide it to a series of numbers which tends towards to go to 0, again that is infinity. So now, by the basic fundamental law of equation, if you try to equate these two things, so 1 divided by 0, we have got infinity, right? And same thing is 2 divided by 0, which is also infinity, right? So if A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then A is equal to C. As simple as that. So using that approach, if we take, then 1 divided by 0 is equal to 2 by 0, right? Same denominators, then you have cross this, and then you get 1 is equal to 2. But just understand what we did right now. We have kind of broken all the rules and the approaches of our basic fundamental understanding of physics. So for example, if this is one pencil and these are two pens, in physics, in physical world, these are not two same things, right? This is not equal to this. So 1 is equal to 2 is wrong, right? So we, again, this approach is wrong. The whole approach of this is basically wrong. So now, fundamentally, if you look at how do you solve 1 divided by 0, there is no solution to this, and hence it is undefined. But let me tell you why it is undefined, right? Now if you basically take, let's take another approach to this, right? let's go towards 0 from the bottom. Let's go from the negative, right? So before we went from 1 towards 0, that is 1, 0.1, 0.0, and 0.2. Now let us try to go from -1 onwards. So you have 1 divided by -1, then you have 1 divided by minus 0.1, and then you have minus 0.01, right? So if you equate this, you get basically -1, and then you have -10, and then you have -100. You see where I'm going with this, right? So this is going to minus infinity, right? Which is not equal to infinity. It is minus infinity, right? So now, not a single mathematician, anybody till date, could figure out or place any specific number which would define the division of 1 divided by 0. That means you can place any number and it still becomes undefinable. Hence, 1 divided by 0, or any number rather divided by 0, is basically undefined. I hope you have understood this. We will come back again with lots more very interesting whys in this world. And please do subscribe to this channel if you like this video, and do comment in terms of what do you think about this analysis. I would suggest you also understand there are various approaches to getting to this problem as to why it is undefined, using other videos as well on YouTube to figure this out, and it's very interesting to see. And till next time, we'll come back with more whys, whats, and hows. Till then,